Supposed to be here.
Exactly right. Like I said.
Trying to get through talking bad about it.
Okay.
Well, I'm Danny.
I got up and walked outside.
Brother Gene, all right?
Gene, he's not gonna make it.
He's at school.
All right.
He's school this week. Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. It's 10 o'clock. We're gonna get started. This is our regular commission court meeting. And first of all, we're gonna let Brother Jason Fortenberry from the River Church open us up in prayer.
Okay. If he does, let's pray together. Father, we thank you for this day you've created and you've blessed us with. And we ask God for your guidance in this room as we continue to serve our county. We pray for our volunteers that they would lead us well, that they would make the correct decisions that need to be made to serve our residents. And ultimately, God, it all just comes down to living our lives for you and doing things in a way that would honor you. And so, Lord, help us to always love you first and to love people. Because if we get those things right, everything else will be just fine. And so, Lord, we do pray for your presence in this place. We ask for your wisdom and your guidance. We thank you for this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now we're ready.
Then we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum here. We acknowledge any guests that's here today. We're going to first start off with the consent agenda, and y'all can look through that and we'll approve that. Emily.
Sorry.
Hear a motion to approve?
I'll make it.
That's second. It's good.
Motion been made by Commissioner Benson and second by Commissioner White that approve the consent agenda. There's no discussion. All in favor? 4-0. At this time, we're going to have a public forum, and I'm going to ask Ms. Janice Wallace to address the court.
Thank you for allowing me to come today. I'm Janet Wallace. I live at 479 County Road 3130, South County, in Sunset Acres on the west side of 87. For years and years, we have had a problem with water when it rains, not tropical events, regular events. You know, we have a natural slope that goes halfway through that area. The natural slope of the land, the road goes down. Okay, I have some concerns coming up, nothing you can do within the next 3 to 5 years. So I'm asking for y'all to look, just watch this for long range. Okay, we have had, and we have a lot of rain through a regular thunderstorm. The cross ties, we live in the slope. The cross ties of the front will flood. Okay, that's how much water we get standing there. Okay, recently y'all have had someone come through and dig out the drainage that y'all have behind 3130 and behind 3131. That circles around and comes out to 87. The man did an excellent job for how he could get in there with all the obstacles he had. There were places that he could not get to just because of the equipment size. Totally understandable. He did an excellent job. We do have some what I'm calling like spillways. You know, he dug, and then we have this place where there's 5 pine trees, and he just could not get to that. So you have the level that comes up to our little spillway in the ditch, and then you have the level down here where it's going up. So we still have a few problems there, and vegetation has started growing again. So we are going to get the debris from the trees falling and all that caught in the vegetation in that ditch again. Okay, Mr. Powell years ago, Mr. Thompson, if he was here, he could confirm all this. And we have water that stands during regular thunderstorms on 3130, 3129, and 3131. Okay, Mr. Powell years ago, he was very active in this. He and one of his workers put on waders and took a walk during one of these flooding events. And he said out behind there was places that was low, and it was forming its own natural retention ponds, which he said the flooding we were getting, as long as those would hold that water back there, we were not going to get any higher than what we did. Okay, and true to his word, yes, that has pretty much held true. There's been water at times 2 or 3 times, but there was extenuating circumstances, which is these pictures. Okay, this first picture, I've drawn lines on it. That's the actual ditch, and you can see where the water is going over into the behind us and into my property on this side. Okay, I'd like to pass those. Pass that. Okay, also, this tree line right here, the ditch is behind it. You can see where the water is overflowing. Okay, when we get to that point, because I live in this slope, there's a wooded lot on this side of me, and then behind me, there is, on this side, we have a storage building, and that's part of the slope also. Once we start getting to that point, we get the water coming backwards, out of the ditch, back across 3130, coming backwards this way. That is when the homes have got water in them on 3129. Okay, and a lot of times we get water coming over the road, you know, before it backs up. Okay, and here, that's water going back across the road the wrong way. This is also the other side of the property with water going back the wrong way across the road. Okay, there hasn't been a lot of flooding. Mr. Thompson can tell you how much inside a home on 31, I'm nervous, on 3131 and 3129. Okay, now my concern coming up is, like I said, Mr. Powell went back there. He found several places that had natural ponding of this overflow from this ditch. And he said, as long as that was doing that natural ponding, we should never get over what we normally get. And luckily that has happened that way. My concern is they are going to be building the new subdivision back there. And with the can't think of it, the new elevation certificates, they're going to have to raise that back there. You know, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. They're going to have to raise it with the new elevation certificates. And we already have, in a good rain event, water coming back. We're not going to have our natural ponding behind any longer. All I'm asking y'all is, please keep this in mind as that subdivision starts to get built. And I know it's not going to happen tomorrow or even next year, you know, and I understand. that these things have to go through an engineer, they have to go through a planning commission, they have to go through approvals, they have to get funding. You know, I'm asking y'all to keep this in mind on that drainage for Sunset West. And, you know, if y'all maybe could, over the next 3 to 5 years, cement that ditch so we don't get the vegetation growth in it. Put the corrugated, you know, drainage like you do under roads, so we don't get the vegetative growth, so that the water can go. You know, just something that is gonna help when that new subdivision levels up, floods us way worse. And I thank you for your time, and I appreciate y'all listening to me.
All right, and thank you for your concern.
Here you go, man.
Y'all can keep them going. And may we be excused.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to deliberate and consider action on the following items. Number one, to discuss an appropriate approved contract with county collection service.
Due to the questions that the report had from our last meeting, I asked Mr. Bill Moser from TAC to come and give y'all some explanations.
Well, I appreciate that, Chrissy. I'm not really from TAC.
I know.
I know a lot of people here. I was talking to Liz a minute ago, and I said, man, I've been around so long. I was talking to the county judge when I came up. The first person I met here, her name was Bee Westbrook, which I'm sure some of you might remember. That's been a few years ago. We did the tax office back then, and then we continue to add more applications as the years have gone by. I'm Bill Moser. I'm Vice President of Sales with Net Data and GHS. And what we're here to talk about today is the GHS collections contract that we have with the county that expired, I believe, the first of the month. And so I brought some numbers that I thought I'd share with you. They're pretty impressive in my mind. I've got it from we actually went to go live with this original contract on April the 13th of 2012, but the last contract was effective 10/1 of 16 through 10/1 of 21. And during that time, maybe I'll explain what happens in the JP world. If I live in Shreveport, Louisiana, by the way, and I come over the Toledo Bend Dam to get back home on 191. If I get a ticket in Newton County when I leave here, you're not going to send a warrant to come arrest me, right? That doesn't happen. I'm not going to pay you either. But on the 60th day that ticket goes delinquent, the 61st day, if that ticket was $200, the state statute says that the ticket now goes to $260. It increases by 30% when it becomes delinquent. So my collections company, we collect the delinquent fines and fees from the JP courts. Now, in order to collect those fines, in the last 5 years, we mailed out 3,127 what are called courtesy notices. And what those are, on the 15th day, my company, at no cost to the county, we mail the guy, me, that got a ticket, hey dude, you got a ticket in Newton County, you need to pay it. Well, I ain't paying, okay, because you're not gonna come get me. So in order to get me to pay, what we do for you automatically is we file what's called an NRVC, a non-resident violator compact, so that when my driver's license becomes expired in Louisiana and I go to get it, they go, you ain't getting a driver's license, Moser. You owe Newton County for your traffic ticket. So I got to pay it to get it. So we file that automatically for you. We also automatically file what's called Omni, which is through the state of Texas, so that when your ticket, when your license in Texas becomes due and you go to try to get it, you ain't getting one unless you pay Newton County for the ticket. So that's another, I call those the hammers to try to get your money. In addition to the courtesy notices, we also mailed out, this is crazy, for Newton County, 33,188 delinquent letters in the last 5 years. In addition to that, we made 4,273 phone calls to people that owed Newton County money. And what that resulted in is we collected for Newton County $785,495 is what we collected for Newton County in delinquent revenue. That's in the last 5 years. Now, the numbers get much bigger when you go back to 2012, right? And I'll just give up the big number, the amount of delinquent revenue we collected was $1,886,329 since the beginning of the contract, which started on April the 13th of 2012. Now, another kind of thing we do in the spring is it's called the warrant roundup. And we do a big effort to scare people that says, hey, we send out, you got a warrant. We do what's called a warrant roundup for every county we do business in. We do hundreds and hundreds of courts across the state. And we really put a scare on people that they need to come pay. And it really fits in nice because some people, it's in February. And people do tax returns, and it's a good timing because you scare people that they might have got a little refund or something, they'll go in and pay their $350 ticket. But in that 1 month, in 2021, we collected $44,366 for Newton County in delinquent revenue. So we do a great job. I don't know, are any of the JPs here today?
Online, they're watching us. They're watching us.
Well, I'm in front of the camera.
Well, the camera's there.
I think the JPs would agree we do
The
a
camera's there.
I think the JPs would agree. I think the JPs would all agree we did a great job, and I appreciate your support.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think I left anything out. So we'd appreciate having an opportunity to continue what we've been doing for you and renewing it's just a renewal contract. I've been in the marketing world since 1983. My first half of my career was with IBM, and the second half with NetData. And this has been one of the greatest things for our marketing guys because I can come do this and it doesn't cost the county any money. So it's been a really easy sell to get hundreds and hundreds of JP courses across the state to do it because it doesn't cost, I'm not selling you anything. I'm selling you a service, and that's the service that we've been doing for you. And we appreciate the opportunity to continue that. Any questions?
But whatever the ticket is wrote for, and the JP assessed them with whatever it is, $160 or whatever.
Right.
That's what you get to the county.
Yes.
Now, anything over that becomes
I
yours.
get the 30% if I collect it when it becomes delinquent. Correct. So the county gets the full amount that they do.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mosier.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you this
Yes, sir.
morning.
Pay for some of them pine trees to kill with all them letters, warning letters. For that 30% for it. Come out.
And it's worth it that, that the JPs don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just automatic for them. They get the notifications.
Yeah, that's a lot of paper.
And they make the phone calls and everything else.
Yeah, it's a big productivity gain that they don't have to file the NRDCs. We do it automatically. They don't have to file that Omni work. We do it. We generate the courtesy notices and mail it out at no cost to the county. So we do, JPs would, I'm pretty sure, agree that we do a great job for them and reduces the amount of work that they have to do in their offices.
Without looking through this contract, word for word, this is a 5-year contract, right?
Correct.
So it'll start, October, is it?
When you sign it,
Okay. And it'll go for 5 years, all right.
It's another 5-year that we're. I'll make that motion. We approved contract for court collection service.
For a second?
I said.
Maybe Mr. Platt, and second Mr. Benson, that we approve the contract with court collection services for the next 5 years. Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Number 2, to rescind item number 17 from the regular meeting of the Newton County Commissioner Court held on Monday, September 13, 2021, regarding 2021 cell phone allowance, established guidelines for cell phone allowance, and county issued forms for 2022. Ginger, you got anything to say?
I want to give a quick reminder too about the camera. If we could stand right here and face the camera, and then you can see the picture and everything too. You don't really want to do that.
I'm good right here.
Let me see you anyway.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a great day.
Yes, sir.
That's Bill.
You ain't buying lunch?
Courtney and I were visiting, I don't even know if it was about cell phones, but we got to talking and
Well, it's after the budget workshop, and there was all the confusion about who's gonna have it and who's not. She was like, I just need to know for payroll, who is gonna have the cell phone allowance? And something triggered when she said payroll. Like, wait a minute, payroll, so you're changing the payment of an elected official. So went back to our problem that we had back in March, where we were gonna cancel everybody's cell phone allowance, and it's changing the amount of compensation for an elected official. So for 2022, it doesn't matter, because that'll be the established budget for that year, to taking away all the cell phone allowances for 22. But for 21, it's gonna change the amount of compensation that an elected official receives. Everybody with me? Everybody following me? So, last month it was voted to rescind cell phone allowance. So we need to revisit that and probably rescind that rescission. And reinstate it, just because it's only 3 months at this point. And then just start with 22, since it changes compensation for elected officials. So that's what came up. And then, so that'll be the action item, is taking that back from last month, reinstating cell phone allowance for the rest of 21. 22 will stand as it is and set up for the budget. And then, there was still confusion about 22 even, and like who's gonna have it and who's not. And so just wanted it in the court's minutes of who was gonna have cell phone allowance and who's not. So I know there was talk about dispatch, and then maybe not doing dispatch because they were gonna have phones in dispatch. So that discussion needs to be had of who is gonna have it for 22.
Miss Courtney said it all. So we'll need to, I guess, do you want your dispatchers to have cell phones?
Yeah,
Allowance, or you want to have county phones
I want to have a lot, I want to stay just like it is.
for 2022?
Is this the time that we're gonna talk about it? We can do this amount of time. So we'll talk about it once we can really go into detail.
Well, we're going to rescind item number 17 first. We're going to rescind it. And then after we rescind it, then we can talk about the guidelines and which we're going to set up the cell phone allowance and the county issued phones for 22. So I'm asking for a motion to rescind item number 17 from the regular meeting in September 13th, 2021. You want to make that motion?
Yes, I'll make that motion. We all agree. We rescind item number 17 from the regular meeting of the Newton County Commissioner Court held on Monday, September 13th, 2021. Order the 2021 cell phone allowance. 2021.
Second. Motion been made by Mr. Wyatt and second by Mr. Plumby that we rescind item number 17 from the court from September 13th, 2021 for cell phone allowance. Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Okay, we'll establish the guidelines for the cell phone allowance and the county phone issued phone for 2022. And so I think we've already discussed this several times before. I think Olin has decided that he would not, he wanted the county phone,
Yes.
but not the allowance.
No allowance. Yes.
This is 2022.
This is 2022.
And Judge, this isn't necessarily like an action item. I just wanted something in the minutes that, you know, we talked about it a bunch, workshops, different things, but I want something in the minutes so that they'll have guidance on who is what. And have a final decision on it, not going back and forth.
As of right now, for 2021, we went and put back through all this budget for the stuff that added budget.
So for 22,
We'll take that back.
who do you have for 22?
I
Pay
guess,
cell phone allowance.
Dispatcher was not put on for 2022.
So who do you have for 22? The judge, the sheriff, chief deputy, so only those three, right, for 22?
It was going to be Olin, but Olin said no, so just those three, as always.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
no.
that's
and the cell phone allowance for everybody else is gone.
okay. So then does the court want to revisit about the dispatchers having a cell phone allowance?
Yes, I would like to, do we have that discussion now or?
Yes, now's the time.
Okay. Well, one of the things about the dispatch, having no cell phone, right now, our phones tends to go out. Okay. And I think there's 2 phones that's in there now, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And are those county phones? Okay. Again, with the advent of the radios not being able to get in contact with officers, you know, the cell, a lot of times, the dispatchers are working with deputies via cell phone. And I'm gonna tell you, as in my position, I rely on the cell phone, talking to the dispatcher. Now, for whatever reason, you know, with our cell phone, our phones, the dispatch goes out. A lot of times, we don't know that they're out. We had 911 go down. So I'm gonna say, you know, I would rather be safe than sorry, having those cell phones, because we're talking about loss of life or serious bodily injury. And I can go back and come up with some, past incidents, when it comes to communication, with, the dispatch relying on the cell phone. That's where we're at. And I am not gonna feel comfortable, you know, not having that capability. Because you're only gonna need it that one time and you don't have it. And all heck will break loose. So, I can, like I said, I don't know what go into detail, but I can provide you with, facts.
So our county cell phones wouldn't serve the same purpose?
Well, again, that's what I'm talking about. You know, with having all the dispatchers having cell phones, you know, that's not all the time that they're the same ones that work.
No, I understand.
No, they're in dispatch.
I understand, but can't we issue them a county phone?
We have 2 that's designated for dispatch.
Can we issue them a county phone, all of them a county phone?
We have, right now, we have deputies that have them. Have y'all in the past issued dispatchers county phone?
No. Do we need to? That's what he's asking now.
I certainly would like to have that capability to have communication. Cannot let our communication process be degraded.
Oh, I understand. I understand, but we're also trying to manage our budget a little bit too, also.
What's the cost difference?
Of the phone or phone service versus
Cell phone.
the cell phone, what is the cell phone allowance? It's gonna be about the same, because if we get, all the add-ons for the sheriff department as far as archiving and all of those things that's required, it's gonna be about 45. It's about 38 for a basic package, but you're gonna have to have archive and messages and all of that for sheriff department.
I don't get it. I don't understand that.
How many dispatch are we talking about?
Nine.
Will they need,
Yeah,
yeah, will they need it when they're not working? On duty?
they're on call. They're supposed to be accessed. So you get in touch with them, just like the deputies.
I mean, everybody's on call all the time, every county employee, so.
Yeah.
Just playing devil's advocate.
I don't have a vote, just saying, if they have access with cell phones, and the two already, and there's two dispatchers on that time, maybe the jail captain also had one.
Would they have to have all what you're talking about, Shannon? I mean, don't they just need phone capability?
So, the two that I put in there was for when the phones go down, the phone system. But what I'm understanding is that they need phones for when they're at home to be able to get in touch with them.
I understand
That's
that.
outside of, I don't know what they need when they're at home. They have cell phones, or landline phones and whatnot, you know, and, you know, getting in touch with them. That's outside of, if they don't want to answer their phones, I don't know.
Well, one of the things about when you provide something to an employee, you can direct them and do certain things. But I can't tell you what to do with your landline or your private phone, who to answer the call. So,
I can tell you from my experience, when you issue a county phone, a lot of people don't even turn them on. That's just from what I've experienced. Deputies included, they'll leave them in their car. So is that even helping the
that has been
situation?
brought to my attention.
That's not even helping because you're gonna try to get in touch with them.
You bring to my attention
Yes.
that my guys are not doing what they're
Right.
supposed to do.
Right.
They will do it. If not, they will suffer the sanctions. That's one of the things about issuing equipment. That's one of the reasons I've always believed in issuing equipment versus say, oh, well, can we call you on your personal phone?
I say let's issue that, I'm a one-man vote, I say let's issue, if it's that important, and if they're that important to his way of doing business down there, then let's issue him a phone. We should have a bunch of them, because we all turned ours in.
Right.
There should be a box of them somewhere.
But I need someone, I'm not gonna say, is this his personal phone? I'm gonna call that person.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wanna be able to call that person. But I'm not gonna, I need them, that's why I'm calling.
And to add on to that, we were just going through this, Miss Bobby and I, for this audit we're going through. And I'm going through a spreadsheet of listing all of those numbers in case we gotta get, it's an emergency contact list. And for the dispatchers, we got to those numbers and I said, we need to get phone numbers in here. I can't put their personal phone numbers. Why not? They get an allowance. Well, but that's their personal phone, but they get an allowance. Now it's a work phone. No, I'm not putting that. Well, I don't get it. Now it
That
doesn't
one
even make
brought
sense
to
to
my
me.
That's okay.
That
That's
makes
okay.
sense. So
I
it's
just think-
either, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, so
Would you feel better if we issue them a phone where you know that you could call them?
To me, if you're gonna issue them a phone, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But like we said, either way, if you provide them with the allowance, so far as I'm concerned, you issue them a phone. Okay?
Well, I understand what they're talking about, putting their private number out there. They don't even want their number to be in that local.
so that's an issue.
I understand, I
Yeah,
understand.
it is
And
the
I
same
always
thing with us.
understood that if I got cell phone allowance on my personal phone, that became a public phone. And when I got cell phone allowance on my personal cell phone, it became public at that point.
I say issue them.
So that means if there's a court issue, then you would have to give your personal
Yes.
cell
Right.
phone.
Correct.
Which is why we got the county phones to begin with.
Right.
So that's where the issue lies.
Just
We just
one
need to make
other-
sure they turn them on.
One other clarification here is one of the reasons we went with these FirstNet is what's called band 14 capability. That if you have a county phone, that county phone is on band 14, which means you are number one during a disaster. You can't get bumped off any cell phone service. You're going to continue to get that. They have the tower that's in new, it's just been upgraded where it has that band on it. And so, to me, a personal phone, you're not top of the list.
Right.
Whereas with a county phone, on band 14, you are.
Good point.
Good motion. Issue the phone, yeah.
I think, that's me. I'll make that motion.
Do we need a motion?
I don't think you need a motion. You're just-
It's just clarification and guidelines in which,
Mostly if anybody needs to be paid the cell phone allowance for 22, which nobody else is gonna be added, it sounds like. So,
so it's just like the budget said, our 22 budget that we adopted.
it's,
It won't deviate. We're just issuing,
No, I believe it says in that 23 budget, not unless they took it out, it does say in their dispatchers,
so,
they take it out?
as far as I know, they did.
Okay.
Okay. You got that?
Item 3.
All right, we'll move on to item 3. Accept the knowledge letter from Charles A. Reed and Associates for final communication with the governors. Ms. Courtney?
So I think Sherry's at school this week and asked if I would stand in. Do you have copies of her letter, of the letter from the Reed Associates?
Normally just saying that they're done.
They're done with their thing, and I think we passed.
September 27th. It's saying that, we
That's right.
gave them everything they needed, they're done, and it's in review right now. I didn't talk to you last week because I'm waiting on grants, because they're hollering at us. But it was in review for typos and that kind of thing. It's complete, and that's just letting the court know that it is complete. And we should be getting a copy.
So the letter is just saying that we have supplied them with all their necessary needs to get their auditing done on the county.
I haven't seen this year's letter, but that's normally, it's just a final.
This is not the report, this is just acknowledging.
It's just acknowledging that.
And did we have a deadline? We had to meet on them completing?
Yeah,
And
and that was
state-
supposed to be by September 30th, but the feds actually gave us a 6-month extension, but he don't like those, like we don't. So it's done, and it's in just, I have a typo review, to make sure I's right, T's crossed. And it's supposed to be at the printers, and it's supposed to be emailing me and you a copy, digital copy this week. And he's emailing me, and he's gonna email Sherry a copy also. He's emailing me a copy because I've got grant agencies waiting on it.
And he'll usually come and present it himself.
Yeah, he's
the
supposed to
final
come
report.
in November. I think at Gray report in November, his plan is to be here.
Okay. All right, hear that motion?
We're just accepting the letter as it is and acknowledging that we have received it. I make that motion. Accept it and acknowledge it.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. White, second Mr. Palmer, that we accept and acknowledge the letter from Charles A. Reed for the final communication with the governors. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0. Number 4 is to approve new IT service agreement with Ponche Enterprises Incorporated. And this is, Mr. Shannon has presented me with a new contract that, for the next year. Is that right, Shannon?
It reflects the budget that's adopted for next year to be within that budget. It's a 1-year agreement to automatically, or it's through 22, right? So it's more than a year, but it's through December 31st of 22 to renew for a year. should have been beat done or canceled, automatically renewed.
Okay, a motion?
I make that motion.
I second. Motion been made by Mr. Farmbee and second by Mr. Benson that we approve the IT service agreement with Punch A Enterprises Incorporated. Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Number 5 is discussion on and if appropriate update the county policy regarding carrying a weapon on county property while on county business. Ms. Courtney?
So the question came up for one of the precincts about open carry or carrying in a holster with the law changes and whether the employees were able to start carrying with the law changes related to that. And so I looked into it, and you should have a copy of I copied one of the pages from the employee handbook. Prohibited conduct, and one of them is possession of a weapon while on county property or while on county business. So that's the way the handbook reads. And then I also attached a couple of sections related to the government code. That basically employers do have the right to regulate how their employees respond to these laws. You can say they can't, that they're prohibited. That's the way our handbook reads, so you can prohibit them. But you cannot prohibit the public from carrying on county property if it doesn't relate to court. So the county judge or the court and their support services, so I would say the clerk's offices, those support the courts. This commissioner's courtroom, so somebody couldn't come in here with one in a holster. But pretty much any other county property, so the library or historical building, history center, I'm sorry, those, a member of the public could come in with one in a holster and you can't regulate that. You can't tell them no. So I just want to put on the agenda, make sure everybody's still good with how it is, or do you want to update it? Do you want to leave it so that employees can't have them on county property or on county business? So, let's see, I did this a couple weeks ago, I wrote a little summary, so I remember today how I felt about it. County cannot ban the public from open carry, but so the public still has to comply with the law where it has to be in a holster. Any other requirements of the law, still has to be in a holster, but they could like go to a commissioner's barn to talk to a commissioner, as long, with a gun, as long as it's holstered. I guess that could be kind of interpreted as a member of the court, but it's written as the offices or the courts themselves. So there's some gray area there. We've talked about this a few times over the years. When open carry first started 2 years ago, this came up, and then now that anybody can do it, it's come up again. So do we have any discussion about changing the handbook? Possession of a weapon on county property or county business is prohibited for the employees.
30-6 and 30-7 have changed on the carrying. No.
Well, and this also doesn't apply to law enforcement.
I understand that.
So,
But I'm talking about commissioners board or court, they're not supposed to do everything, but we gotta have something. And they have to that's only prohibition.
Do we really want to get in the saying you can't?
our handbook already says it. Are you talking about for the public?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about
For our employees?
yeah, for our employees. I mean, it's already a law. It's already a law says that you can do it. Not that we have I don't think we have a whole lot of employees that do that. But do you want to take that right away from them?
Well, it's already taken away from them.
Okay.
Yes.
It's already in the handbook that it's prohibited.
Okay.
So.
And I suggest that we continue that because, it's kind of like the meetings we've been in. they get in a heated discussion and the guy's carrying, I mean, in my office, say, for instance, well, I'm gonna have approach it a different way. Because it becomes a life and death situation whenever.
Well, and you have to think about, you know, I guess you could leave it to department heads, but I mean, you don't want to have that discretion on your back or your shoulders. So if you say employee, because I can see why a guy, if you're out working on the roads and ditches, why they may want to have one. But if we say county employees can, then, you know, the clerk's office and my office can all start carrying them, and that's, you know.
Have we had any
Well-
issues here in the county that you know of?
No, it was asked to me if they could carry it about a month ago. Can the employees carry guns? And I didn't realize it was in the handbook, so when I found it, I'm like, no, they can't unless that changes.
And this was been like this
Oh, yeah,
for a long
years.
time before, you know,
Before
before all the
anything
laws
was
changed. I think when outside people can carry.
Outside people are different. I mean, we have to keep our standards at some point in time.
So this might be something that you want to table and keep discussing, but since it came up to me, I wanted to start a discussion on it where you decide, do you want to change the handbook or leave it as county employees can't carry?
See what King's saying, y'all, you got some, they just don't feel right being forced in one way or the other.
I mean, you
But-
can say.
And I don't think we have a lot of employees doing that. I don't think.
No, and I don't see any reason that one should really want.
Maybe you could have, there's a suggestion, maybe leave it, but add, unless approved by your department head. And then give you the option to approve somebody carrying it if it's needed for their job for that day, if they're gonna be working on the side of the road where there's snakes or wherever.
Well, I wanted to ask a question right here. Like my secretary, Ms. Ellis, we got some weirdos. And I tell her lock herself up in that office, but I don't see why I can't have a gun in my office in case my deputies can't get here in time. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there for her protection. There's some crazy people.
And being in the offices like that is almost like a confined weapon. I mean, everybody should
Well,
have.
I'm just asking about the
this day and time.
legalness of that.
I mean, I'm gonna have one in my glove compartment, but I'm not gonna jump out the service station scrapping on every time because I know that it infuriates some people. And I'd rather not be in that position, you know, especially if I'm representing the county. Yeah, Joe Blow, let him go
But
and
at the
walk.
same time, as a commissioner and as district attorney, I'm really concerned about Courtney and some of the other. There are people that are really upset with some of y'all.
Yeah.
They're gonna see you at the gas station and might want a confrontation. And,
In Berkshire's.
yeah, and Brookshire. So I'm always concerned about my wife.
At the K building.
You got one in her front, you know?
They'll tell you.
Just about every woman in here got one in their purse or in their car, just like we carry one. I got one in my glove compartment. I mean, but that, I don't go out walking the street with it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I mean,
Right.
you don't look for trouble, you normally
Oh,
won't
I
find
agree.
trouble.
So you're saying openly carry.
But
No,
then,
You're not saying concealed.
concealed.
You saying concealed is okay.
Yeah, that's the, I mean,
But you can't, I don't think we can have it both ways.
Huh?
I don't think we can have it both ways.
well, for the county, I mean, we gotta make the rule for the county.
My suggestion is to add, it says prohibited possession while on county property or while on county business unless approved by your supervisor, your department head. And then you can make a policy in your own department, policies that you're supposed to have and what your policy is for your department, is what I think.
I think it ought to be a policy countywide and not bring it to us, each individual office. I think you should have me personally, I think you should have a right to have a gun in your purse. On county property,
Yeah.
or in your truck, or at the Brookshire Brothers.
Well, I can anyway, but.
I know, I'm just saying, I'm just using you though. But I want Ginger and Christie to also feel like they can also do the same thing. If we do this, then that eliminates her to bring She can leave it in her car, but she can't bring it to her office with her.
You have to think about too, I mean, I think you were kind of touching on something, I'll get to you next year, about, maybe if you allow concealed, because how is a member of the public gonna feel like they can come to you and talk to you about issues if you're standing there with a gun on your
I
hip?
understand.
So if you had something concealed for your own protection.
I'm not a gun toter.
I'm not either.
Okay, I don't tote a gun. I don't do that. But I just know that I want them, and I want your office, and I want everybody else's office to feel like, since that law is in effect, that they feel.
I wouldn't never.
We want people to feel comfortable and protect our people, but we also want the public to feel like they can come and approach.
You had to come to me with yours, huh? Got one bigger than yours. You know?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but the fact is, we're talking about open carry concealed. Like as a law enforcement officer, I cannot just walk up to you and pat you down. I mean, you have rights. So you have something in your purse, I don't believe.
Right.
Other than your purse, I don't do that.
No,
Yeah.
we understand that, but you can't have it both ways. You're saying no,
I'm saying
No.
it's prohibited,
correct?
but
And you're saying that I'm pretty sure every woman around here's got a gun in their purse.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I want them. I want them to be protected. But if we do this, then that eliminates them getting out of their car and coming into their office.
well, why don't you just take that whole sentence out and then there's nothing that's dictating what happens with guns. People just do what they want to about it. Otherwise, I think that the policy should read that if you have it, it should be concealed.
I agree with that.
I recommend we table it for now and the department continue to, the court continue to discuss the pros and the cons.
Maybe our next department head.
Right.
So in the meantime, the policy will stay in effect where it's prohibited.
You make that a motion.
Yes, I make a motion, we table.
That's that.
Motion been made by Mr. White and second by Mr. Benson that we table item number 5. Any discussion? Not all in favor? Or number 6, to approve new TCDRS plan assessments for year 2021. New rates of 8.67, old rates of 8.45. Ms. Ginger?
I just need y'all to sign this to verify that y'all are changing it to the 8.67 because TCDRS recommended that we go up this year. We knew it was coming. We've actually been, above the percentage, but now it needs to go up.
Okay, was this mandatory or?
This time it is. I mean, we can actually go up if we wanted to 9%, but with the way our budget
Going
is
to the
now.
recommended amount?
Yeah.
Okay, let me make that a motion first. Whoever wants to make it.
I make the motion.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Benson, second Mr. Palmer, that we approve the new TCDRS plan for 2022. And, any discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0. Number 7, discuss and appropriate approve the 2022 Newton County Resolution for Defense Grant Program. Ms. Liz?
This is an annual grant that we get. And it is we get anywhere from, I think we've gotten as low as 15,000 to around 28, 29,000. Last year, I think we got about 22,000. And it's based on, it goes all the way back to when this started in 2012, I believe. And I do an annual report to let them know what we've spent on court-appointed attorneys. And this is just to renew the grant for the upcoming year, for the 22 fiscal year. And I'm working on the report right now. It's due the end of the month. And we'll know December, January, how much we're gonna get. And that just offsets, whatever we get is, we don't have to pay out of general fund. It just helps us out.
Okay.
Okay, I make that motion, we, approve the 2022 Newton County resolution for the Institute Defense Grant Program.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. White, and second by Mr. Palmy, that we approve the 2022 Newton County resolution for the events grant program. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0. Number 8, discuss and appropriate approve small purchase procurement for survey service for 2016 housing buyout program, GLO contract 18-533-000-B277.
Mouthful. This is on our buyouts for 16. This came about because we did the small purchase procurement on the closing of the properties with our title company. And the title companies were doing the surveys. And when we cut the check to them, it included that survey amount, which is going to possibly put us over the small purchase amount that we're limited to for title services. So the GLO has suggested that we procure a surveyor separately from the title company, so that when it's time to do the buyout, that the county will direct the surveyor to go do the survey, and they'll bill us directly. We've started the process, just our notes and everything on what we need to do. If it's approved by court, then we can go forward, because we've got several houses on hold right now because of this, and this will take about 3 weeks. What we do is email surveyors and make some phone calls, and then they give us a quote, and we record all our conversations, on a piece of paper about what we did, and then we will bring to court to choose somebody.
Basically, we're paying it now anyway.
We're paying it now, we just gonna pay it a different way, and it's 100% reimbursed by the GLO. They'll just bill us directly instead of through the title company.
That helps us get some of our money right back in.
No, it's a different program.
Your motion.
I make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Palmy, and second Mr. White, will approve the small purchase procurement for survey service for 2016 housing buyout program. Is there any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Number 9, discuss and appropriate approve the resolution to support the Texas Historical Commission restoration project for Newton County Courthouse. Ms. Leah?
This is the grant that we received from the Historical Commission back in the end of July, first part of August. And this is a part of the process that we have to go through. We approved the funding agreement, I think maybe back in August, September. We're waiting on the governor's signature on that. And this is just a resolution that has to be approved by court, that that y'all approve us accepting this grant and going forward with it.
I'll make that motion. We, approve the resolution authorizing the filling of the historical support of the Historic Commission Restoration Project in Newton County Courthouse.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. White, and second by Mr. Benson. We approve the resolution of the Historical Commission. Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Number 10, discuss and appropriate approve the resolution authorizing the filing of the DEPCOG Region Solid Waste Grant Program application. Liz?
This is a resolution authorizing us to apply for this next round of funding with DETCOG, for the solid waste program. Judge and I have a meeting tomorrow. The lady from DETCOG that's going to go over some of the fund, what we can use these funds for this year. This is the first step. Get us going.
Hear a motion?
I second.
Motion been made, Mr. Palmer, second, Mr. Benson, that we approve the resolution authorizing the filing of DEPCOG's solid waste, grant program application. Any discussion? Not all in favor? Four. Number 11, discussion and appropriate approve, CityTel Cohen inmate phone system used by the inmates, incarcerated by Newton County Jail. Mr. Burby.
Judge, Commissioners, general public. Courtney, I want to take this, I don't want to do anything on this because in view of some security constraints, this is going to have to be reworked, that we found out through CITES. And so, however you want to make that action. I want you to do anything on it. It will come back later in a different format. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Make that motion, table.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmer, and second, Mr. White, that we table item number 11. Any discussion? No. Not all in favor? Four. Number 12, discussion appropriate to accept donation from Dan Ringer to clear and clean a portion of County Road 4220 at his own cost. Mr. Thompson not here today. As the county road has been in dispute for several months now, in fact, ever since I've been here, and it hadn't been kept up, and there's trees that's growing up in it and overlaying limbs, and Mr. Ringer is wanting to go in there and clear it at his own expense, so we just need to accept this donation from them.
So it's not a matter of whether or not it's going to open it back up, or it still was a county road.
It is a county road and designated by 911. 0.7 miles long.
0.7.
And it just goes to Mr. Ringer's property, and some timber coming.
I'll make that motion, accept the donation.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmer, and second, Mr. White. We accept the donation from Mr. Ringer to do the clearing of the portion of 4220 at his own expense. Any discussion? Not all in favor? Four. Number 13, discuss and appropriate relocate and reroute County Road 4089 to intersect 4090. Mr. Benson?
Yes, sir. Live Oak Church purchased some land there in Belgrade, and it's gonna be 100-year-old in 3 years, and they're gonna build a new church. This road goes right down the middle, if you got the map. And this is only gonna be 100 feet. I'm gonna turn the road. That way they're open the middle of their land up, so they can build their church and have parking.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I did review it and approve of it too. There's no, any other property owners that it affects. They own all the property on both sides of the roads, and not any adjacent owners that would be able to petition against it or anything. So it's good to go.
Thank you.
At the same time, this being done at the county expense.
Yeah, it's just gonna be 2 loads of rock, that's it.
All right, motion been made, Mr. Plumbee, and second, Mr. White, we, approve the relocate, rerouting of 4489 to intersect 4090. Any discussion? All in favor? Four. Number 14, discuss and approve to observe June 19th as a county holiday starting 2022. This was made in law by President Biden on June 17th, 2021, is recognized as a federal holiday. So I'm asking the court what they would like to do on that.
So how many holidays we had this year? 16. Yeah. Is there another one that might mean less to employees or something? Could we look at the number of holidays? I'm afraid we're getting an awful lot of holidays for 4 work day weeks.
Usually at the end of December, you'll set your holiday calendar for
Right.
next year, so at that time you can, give up some and take some. But I think we want to recognize that also as a holiday here.
Yeah.
Yes, is the
Yeah.
answer.
But that was just discussion.
And then at the end of December,
Something to think about.
figure out what you give up if that sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to know the court's feelings on whether they want to recognize that as a holiday.
I could recommend we do, make the motion that we do recognize June 19th as a holiday.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. White and second, Mr. Palmer. We recognize June 19th as a county holiday. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0. Okay, likewise on 15, 16, 17 is all disaster related, and the first one is COVID-19 and Hurricane Laura and the winter storm. Lump them all together unless otherwise y'all want to separate one or not continue to November the 8th, 2021.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. White and second Mr. Plumbee that we extend the disaster declarations to August the 8th, 2021. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0. Okay, last we have pay the bills, and who's going to present them today?
They're all good, they're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a copy.
Courtney, you gonna do that?
I don't mind.
I'm just joking.
So general fund, I guess I'll just go right down. General fund, $1,139,340.78. District Attorney State Fund, $5,021.60. Road and Bridge General, $63,430.50. Road and Bridge Precinct 1, $125,239.21. Road and Bridge Precinct 2, $59,950.56. Road and Bridge Precinct 3, $50,067.12. Road and Bridge Precinct 4, $40,189.70. Courthouse Security, $2,089.80. The VAW grant, $10,357.84. Commissioner Special Precinct 1, $24,674.06. Precinct 2, $50,766.62. Special Precinct 3, $40,445.70. Special Precinct 4, $54,145.60. Yeah, 60 cents. Dedicated Road Precinct 1, $5,355.50. Dedicated Road Precinct 3, $826.69. Record preservation, $445.10. Sheriff contraband, $1,153.14. Solid waste disposal, $47,860.98. Voter registration, $8,782.96. Duke County Library, $24,548.83. Historical operating, $7,924.24. Hazard mitigation grant, $897,073.80. FEMA grants, $33,032.70. Grants, $130,515.70. Technology fund, $507.19, for a total of $2,823,808.92.
That includes the live check.
For us to be cut, that's a big number.
Well, what caught my eye was that, hazard mitigation grant, how much did it spend?
$897,000.
Is that received, like received?
We received that.
Yeah, that's received. It's not expense.
That'll help us a whole bunch on that too.
My God.
Whoa,
Yeah, that's not the whole in that too.
that scared me.
Received it, not spending.
Take it back.
Well, it shouldn't be on there.
No,
No, it's
no.
That's income. I know y'all seen the blood run out of my face when you said that.
Oh,
Ew, I'm like, what did I screw up?
too late.
That shouldn't be on
not sure this is.
Then that other
there.
grant,
That's probably $1 million that's supposed to be in there. So we had about $1 million.
1.9.
Yeah. That's still way too much.
Yeah.
This.
That's what we normally had, about 1.8, 1.9.
Need to be around $1 million.
Yeah. 5 at least.
12 million when you're collecting, how much?
I know.
7. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that $897,000 is what we received, and we did a live check to transfer it over into the.
Oh, mine's in the office.
So that's,
We done figured it out. That's income. We got that in.
that includes the live checks, and it should not include doing transfers back and forth. That's why it's so much.
Is 130 in it too, Liz? Is that income or is that actually a grant? That's income. Was that me?
Match money?
Was that me that got in there?
From 07, was it 072?
076.
076, no, yours didn't hit until October.
Okay.
But 076 could have been, I guess we did pay some out there. But let me, I think that may have been on that first report that summary comes from. It included the live checks. Because the report on here, hang on, let me get to the last page.
Mm-mm. We're not gonna okay there, right? We're not gonna okay there, right? Okay.
Y'all can.
No, I ain't gonna stand it. That gotta be correct.
I'm not gonna say it.
No, I ain't either. Not if we take a big magic marker and pencil through some of that.
Yes, it included the live check transfer, so that actually amounts, so that's not mine. That total is not mine.
Okay. Just
Because
table.
it should not include the live checks for the transfers.
She's supposed to be
Because
back.
it's at the end of that. Just for the voucher checks.
So just
Live
table
checks
the
not
table.
included.
I make a motion to table the bill.
I second.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmer and second by Mr. Benson that we table paying the bills. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make it.
I'll take it.
Motion been made by Mr. Benson and second by Mr. White. We're 14 minutes after 11.
Supposed to go, I didn't.
And right there. Thank you.
Cindy?